Hi, I'm Rahul Joshi. I'm the Chief Technology Officer at Movate. And joining me today is Vasupradha, who is Senior Analyst with Forrester. Vasu advises enterprises on contact center and customer engagement strategies. She focuses on enabling digital support organizations to get more agile about how they tackle technology and transformation roadmaps with practical insights into technology platforms, data and analytics. Welcome, Vasu.
Hi, Rahul.
So, Vasu, in your latest report, you mentioned that enterprise adoption of automation remained low in 2022. In 2023, how do you see the CX tech stack evolving for better ROI? What do you think are the bets for the enterprises?
Great starter question, Rahul. So we did a report late last year, looked at Forrester data on what enterprises were doing with automation, and what came across on that from that data was that adoption of what I'd like to call discrete automation, which is essentially enterprises just leveraging point solutions, right? Automation from a very task perspective was what was happening with most enterprises. And even with that kind of automation, the adoption was unexpectedly low, right? I think we talk so much about automation, we just expect better results from automation, but that's contrary to what the data told us. So for me, in 2023, I think the evolution of the CX tech stack, like you said, with all of the focus coming back on customer experience, improving and maintaining a higher level of customer experience, avoiding service degradation that we faced over the last couple of years of pandemic. I think my take on what's going to be the big bets for enterprises in 2023, probably two things. The first one is them steering away from this exact discrete automation strategy, right? Stopping to look at automation as a very with a very narrow lens, with a very narrowly defined scope, and think about it a lot more from a platform perspective. So I'm definitely wanting and hoping that automation for 2023 and beyond will not be so discrete, that it'll be more connected, that it will be more about creating connected, seamless experiences. And that would also mean that the big bet for 2023 is that enterprises start focusing a lot more on improving and fixing journeys, as opposed to just, alleviating pain points across a customer journey, which I think also kind of tells us why we've been exploring automation in such a discrete way. So those are my two really big bets for 2023 for enterprises to do better with automation and to kind of leverage the CX tech stack a lot better.
So as enterprises become more ROI sensitive, what are the top use cases that you think enterprise will invest in?
I think it kind of goes with, these large themes, right? Which is, non-discrete or more cohesive, or like a platform approach to automation. And again, the focus on journeys and workflows. So for example, one of the top use cases that we've all kind of been trying to solve for a while now has been around how we orchestrate journeys, and that then reflects into an agent outcome, right? So for example, all the work that we are doing on creating better, more dynamic and smarter versions of unified screens for agent workspaces, or creating and improving the true omni-channel narrative, because despite all the investment that's gone into it today, my take is that we're still a very multi-channel service industry rather than an omni-channel service industry. It takes a lot to get omni-channel right. So that's probably something that that's a top use case for the business to solve for. And then, of course, the nature of how we manage customer interactions. It used to be a very reactive way of handling customer service and customer interactions. We've made some strides there. We've started leveraging data. We've started understanding the importance of working well with data, and we've brought in a certain amount of proactiveness, if you will, on how we manage customer interactions today. But there is opportunity to get a lot more anticipatory about managing experiences. So another use case for me will be around all the predictive modeling that we've been talking about to kind of make all of that real for the business. So whether it is around interaction management or experience management, all the predictive algorithms kicking in. And the final, the fourth big use case for me is just doing better with automation. And from a workflow management perspective and a journey management perspective versus, I'm going to do a chatbot for customer service kind of initiative. So those are like my big use cases. Are you seeing similar movement at Movate, Rahul? I'm curious. You're solving these problems for your customers day in and day out as well. So are you seeing either work or adoption or customer affinity towards these kind of things?
Yes, we are seeing most of the customers now investing in platform-based solutions. They don't want point solutions. That much is very, very clear from the RFPs that have come in, from the work that we are doing with the customers. They don't want a point solution. They want a platform. They want focus on customer journeys and other stuff. So we actually did an engagement with a fintech giant who are working with banks to provide devices and card payments and other stuff. What we have been able to do with them is to build that platform on their environment. We have built voice solutions, we have built chatbot solutions, we have built CRM, which is Salesforce, and we have deployed all of them across the globe. So we have deployed them in Spain, UK, Philippines, Australia, and other places. So that's what we are seeing. We are seeing a lot of platform-centric growth, specifically in the CX business. Also, interestingly, right, because we are taking a platform-based approach, we have seen agent productivity rise tremendously. So earlier, from the earlier versions to the current version of the platform that we have deployed, we've seen close to 22 to 25% productivity improvement in the agent thing. So that is very encouraging to see in its in the whole perspective of how platforms are being leveraged.
I think that is an unexpected like a brownie point from all the improvements that we're making, right? Both with enhancing agent productivity, I think a lot of it ties back to the fact that we've been talking about it for a while at Forrester now, the fact that agent experience kind of governs and influences is a key, a critical influence factor for overall customer experience. So looking at improving agent experience and taking the weight of productivity a little bit away from the agents, and then, kind of building those preventive and monitoring and control layers into the technology, I think it definitely helps.
Definitely, it helps, and we have seen it in a telephone manufacturer as well, telecom manufacturing industry as well, where we have seen close to 15 to 20% improvement once we started doing the Agent 360 solution with them as well. So those are some of the examples that at least I can tell from my experience. And how is the tech stack evolution impacted by customer and employee expectations and behavior, Vasu? Have you seen any secular changes that are happening or secular trends that are happening in tech stack evolution?
Yeah, absolutely, right. And that's like an interesting change in how technology is perceived and consumed now, right? We've always been very conscious of customer behaviors impacting technology decisions or operational strategy decisions, right? The biggest, I think, lesson learned possibly over the last 3 or 4 years is the customers challenging the entire channel of choice versus channels for resolution thing, right? We were all so clued in on creating what we called the omni-channel enterprise, enterprise, which was us going and telling customers, we'll meet you wherever we are, wherever you are, right? So if you want to do live chat, we're going to give you a live chat. If you want to do this on WhatsApp, then we'll do this on WhatsApp, right? Sounded like a great strategy from a channel enablement perspective. But I think where we kind of lost the plot a little bit was in understanding that customers are not really looking only for, just channels of resolution, that there is a need for us to focus on resolving customer issues on those channels. So it's not about telling customers, we're today available on WhatsApp, you can talk to us on WhatsApp, you can do this on live chat, you can call us, you can message us. It is about telling customers or guiding them to the right channel based on what we believe is the right channel for them, and to enable in-channel resolutions, right? So the big debate around enabling channels, or the whole strategy of the more is the merrier when it comes to enabling channels, that is being challenged by customer behaviors today. So while there is enough affinity and adoption of digital channels, the resounding feedback that's coming back from customer behavior is that they're not really able to resolve much on digital channels, and they do end up having to call the contact center. And that kind of then also influences what the entire channel change trend itself is. What is the new definition of omni-channel? So omni-channel is not about being on every channel anymore, but about creating that relevant channel mix for your business, right? So digital is definitely on the rise. Customer feedback, customer sentiment is definitely telling us that people do want to do more on digital channels. They definitely want to be engaged in a digital media first, if that is the option that's available for the brand. But that also means it does not mean that we just extend every single channel that is available to the customer, but create a channel mix that is relevant for our business, right? And on the flip side of it, what we were talking about, right? If we are creating this complex channel infrastructure based off of the customer's experience and customer behavior, we also need to take into account that the backend support infra for somebody that's providing that service, a customer service agent or a customer service representative, also is dealing with a very complex workspace today, right? We are both from the industry, and one of our favorite data points to discuss all the time, and it comes up every time I have a conversation with somebody that's been in the weeds, that's part of the contact center, right? Even today, we have agents flipping between multiple screens on every single interaction to get customer data and customer information. We still don't have a great solve for that, right? Everybody has their hand in the cookie jar a little bit. We're all developing something, but we still don't have a very efficient solution. So agents are now getting a lot more vocal about wanting that clarity, about wanting a simpler workspace, one that is more collaborative in nature and consultative in nature, and also one that is more smart, right? We recently at Forrester did a report on designing the insight-driven contact center. And one of the things that led us to that research was the fact that even today, a lot of what we have available as enterprise insights is restricted only to the supervisory layers, right? And the actual customer service frontline, which is having those critical customer conversations, is almost always the last to know when it comes to insights. So a better way of delivering and empowering the frontline with insights, with meaningful insights, and in a very consumable way, right? Not through big dashboards and drillable charts at them, because we all know there is no luxury that a customer service agent has to look at a graph when they're having a customer conversation, right? So a lot of thought and feedback coming from the operational layer, from the customer service frontline, that they want not just a simpler, easier interface that is more collaborative, but also one that is making them feel more empowered, that gives them access to relevant customer insights at the right time.
Agreed. And I have seen some of that evolving in the engagement that I talked about at the telecom equipment manufacturer, right? We built an agent 360, workspace, which had analyst insights driven, working style for them. So they
Right.
had the analyst insights, which helped them, understand the questions better, understand the resolution better, and help them do the first call resolution or escalation in a much better way. Just as some of the examples of that. What we have also done, Vasu, and what I've seen this happening in the industry for some time now, is the QA portion, right? Which we do. We have kind of automated it so that the the agent gets to understand the QA feedback, which is usually two out of the calls that they will take, right? We have done 100% QA of the complete call list, which essentially means that people in the industry will get the feedback for all conversations that they are having, for all the interactions that they are having, and they can improve with each interaction, which is something that I believe is something that the industry is looking at and
For
will
sure.
definitely invest a lot in the going years forward, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the quality management and the quality assurance space for customer service is a space that is just poised for disruption, right? And there is opportunity for every kind of transformation there, whether we're talking about making process framework related improvements, whether we're talking about doing more with technology, right from incremental, form-based improvements kind of transformation to something that's completely moonshot, things like automatic quality management.
Hmm.
Everything is like open for both innovation as well as thought leadership. So I think those are some great, very relevant strides that you're making towards quality assurance and management.
Okay. So how do you see CX service providers' role evolving to meet the enterprise needs, correct? That is something that I wanted to hear as well.
Yeah. So, we did this research called Insight Driven BPOs back in 2020. We did a evaluative research that kind of looked at how service providers leverage insights to kind of work, and how do they work with insights, right? What are they doing with insights?
Mhm.
As a part of that research, I think something that came as a very clear call out was that businesses that are able to leverage insights, not just operational insights, right? Not just about improving your own performance management, but
Mhm.
the absolute sweet spot for any CX service provider, right, is the
Mhm.
fact that you have access to so much valuable customer data. And it
Mhm.
is your game to try and see how well you can use that data and what you can make off of that data. And what we saw in that research was that businesses that had figured that out, right?
Mhm.
Service providers that understood the value of data and insights they're dealing with
Mhm.
were able to kind of change the nature of engagement between them and their clients, right? So one of
Mhm.
the things they were able to do really well was get more consultative and collaborative, because what we're hearing from the buyer market, right, that is all of your customers, for
Mhm.
example, what they're telling us is that a BPO engagement or a CX provider engagement today is not just about the traditional goals of staff or cost arbitrage or labor arbitrage, right? Those are erstwhile conversations. They are still part of the overall deliverable, but that is not the only thing that they want these partnerships for.
Mhm.
Today, CX provider, service provider partnerships are more around value orchestration. And how do you deliver value to your clients beyond just the service delivery component? You get a lot more collaborative and consultative, so much so that you participate in their transformation objective, right? So you become a part of your client's transformation agenda. So the ability to kind of go to them with very meaningful insights on what's working for them, what's not working for them, from their transformation agenda perspective, and how they can fix those journeys, right? That is what is changing the conversation. And if we are able to do that, if we are really able to apply insights and recommendations to that level, then we are also able to, with confidence, approach them about not just being a service delivery partner, partner, but someone that is a lot more ownership driven, right? So the ability to own business outcomes and objectives jointly with the customer, to tell them, it's not just about channel deflection. It is not just about cost reduction. It's about owning a core business outcome, like managing an end-to-end experience for a particular customer journey, for example, or a customer episode, and to own outcomes associated with that, whatever the business objectives are. That is the true return on interest, and that is the true nature of partnership that that is kind of driving the change for the industry. So those for me are like the big changes on how service provider, CX service provider engagements are going to shape up. Conversations are going to move away from your traditional RFP oriented time and material kind of billing conversations to something that is definitely more value driven, something that is more of a thought led initiative, something that is more across the board transformation rather than a mere execution partnership, which is what we've been delivering for a very long time. I don't know if you're seeing some of these changes with your client engagements, but that's definitely what we are hearing in the market.
So we have actually seen some of these changes come as part of RFPs, as part of the engagements that we are having, correct? Actually, I remember, in one of the engagements that we have, we are responsible for the subscribers that we cater to. And that is an owned outcome, correct? You have the subscribers and you have the number of subscribers. You get paid by the subscribers. If the subscribers are leaving, you don't get paid. If the subscribers are increasing, you get paid more. And that kind of leads to a lot of, this analytics-driven insights, this analytics-driven decision-making, so to speak, to retain the customers and to, kind of reduce the churn, etc. It's an interesting topic to discuss further, but, that is, to tell you the truth, owned outcomes are definitely something which is happening in our industry that I, completely agree with. Now, I actually wanted to understand, we are talking about insights. So how can enterprises leverage insights to drive more personalized CX, correct? And to drive business momentum, because analytics is something which is changing the flavor of the business, making it more sales and so on and so forth. How do we do that?
Yeah, I think that goes back to what we spoke about, part of the insight-driven BPO research as well, right? So we identified 3 tiers of service providers, if you will, right? We called them insights-enabled, insights-driven, and insights-led, right? The difference was that enterprises that were in the insights-led space were able to understand the value of the data that they had access to, were able to leverage it and apply the right level of analytics and, get to a more prescriptive space, right? So analytics is not just about fantastic looking dashboards and executive reporting anymore, right? It's about contributing to improving a business process. And that means that you're getting to a very prescriptive, what we've been calling actionable recommendations, really delivering those recommendations to your customers on how they can change or move the needle on what their core enterprise objective is, right? And the minute you start to do that, you kind of break the shackles of working just within your defined scope of work, which is a big thorn on the side for service providers, right? Because more often than not, we feel very limited about how much access to customer data we have, what can we do with that? It seems like a very narrow scope. So can I really influence business outcomes? So the answer there is to, look at it as an incremental or a progressive way to engage with insights, right? So the first level for me would be to take all of that fantastic analysis that we do and apply it to our own operational operational, to make our more operations more agile, right? So how do we perform better within our defined scope of work for that customer? What can I improve, right? Is there a productivity benefit that I can give? So for example, a simple query categorization model looking at, transcripts from customer interactions can help you understand, if there are options for automation, if there is a better way to do FAQs or job aids so that the agent population is more empowered, right? It seems like a very simple fix, but the impact that it delivers, we both understand, can be quite dramatic when it's done really well, right? So there are all those traditional models of churn prediction and things that exist, but these are the ones that are more impactful. So this is the first layer where we start making our own operations, what you deliver for the client, extremely smart, agile, and nimble, and very, very data led, right? And then you kind of extend a value of that. You work towards creating a path to monetization of those models, because the other thing that we typically don't do with insights is, once it starts as a value delivery mechanism, it kind of gets stuck there, right? And then it never goes beyond. It always becomes this value benefit that you provide for your customer. So we need to kind of be able to break that out and build a path to monetize that, right? Why is that important? Productization or monetization of insights becomes important because that is how you improve the relevance of it. If you're only doing it for the 600 agents that you own, then you're still lacking enterprise context, right? But if that becomes a product that is licensed, that your client can take and administer across all of their agent customer service population, then the scale and the impact that we're able to deliver is very, very different, right? So that is the path that we need to work towards. It could be very incremental for some businesses. It could be very transformative for some businesses, but it's a journey that all service providers should not shy away from, right? It is something that we need to invest time and effort in. Start building the effective insight as a service, if you will, right? Get to a place of where you're becoming a thought partner for your client rather than an execution partner, right? To the point where, really advanced, mature service provider organizations are able to go and tell their clients that they are not thinking about something the right way, because you have so much tacit knowledge that you're delivering on so many different customers, right? So how do we make use of all of that tacit knowledge? By creating a template for it, by productizing it, right? It could be for telecom, it could be for insurance, it could be about fixing the claims journey, right? The difference is your client has your client's perspective, but you as a service provider have an industry perspective because you're doing this for 5, 6, 7 different insurance clients, right? So to kind of get all of that tribal knowledge and to productize it, to almost weaponize it, if you will, right? Create that template and blow it up, blow it out of the water, make those really bold strides with insights. And then what we discussed about before, start owning outcomes, right? Let's drop the conversations of we're also doing meaningful insights as a value add and be very shy and coy about it. But let's go there and say, hey, you know what, I can, with a certain degree of certainty, I can come and tell you that these customer experience initiatives that you have running today are not delivering a great impact for your organization. Here's how you change it, right? Let me do it first for my scope of work, and then I will tell you how you can do this for your entire customer base. That's the message that needs, and I will tell you that customers are ready to hear it. Your customers want it. They just don't know how to ask you for it. So
wonderful. Actually, when we were starting on the journey of analytics, correct? We started with two portions of it. One was the operational insights, the other was the business insights. And our CEO said, we want operational insights to be part of delivery, correct? General delivery mechanism.
Yeah.
You deliver operational insights day in, day out. Make sure that the BPO work or the CX work doesn't get impacted by the operational insights. So that was one way in which we approach it. And like you said, we took the second insights, which was the business insights, where we added things like upsell, cross-sell. We added things about, how many subscribers you have, how many are leaving you, what can we do to ensure that things are pulled back and you have additional subscribers, etc. So that was an interesting conversation to have with the CEO as well as with the customers, because the CEO was interested in the insights as to why customers are leaving, but
Yeah.
he had no way to kind of regain them back. But the customer was interested to regain them back, and he had various other channels included so that we could bring them back. It's an interesting conversation. I am assuming that we will have more of these initiatives being deployed, so to speak, in 2023 and 24, because that's how the industry is going to be.
I
Now, what
certainly hope
industry
there
is
is.
going to be, I had a question on what does Chat GPT and Metaverse do for you? Correct?
Wow. Yeah.
What is
I mean, it's
exactly?
almost impossible to have a conversation with anyone today without ChatGPT coming up. But I do think it's a very relevant conversation to have as well. So ChatGPT is not the first generative AI tech that we've been exposed to. There have been, to be very honest, a lot of us have been using it, but just nothing, got enough attention in the market like ChatGPT did. And like all new buzzworthy technology does, this went through its cycle quite quickly, right? There was that initial awe and adulation almost that came for the technology, and then there were the naysayers who said no, this is gonna do all sorts of bad things, and then there was like a normalization phase where everyone was like, no, it's not so bad, but it's not so good either. And now there are people that are dissing it, saying, oh, it's doing all these horrible things, it's giving these horrible answers to questions. So I think it will all settle to a point where two key learnings will come through from it. One is generative AI is definitely the future, right? So if we're not acknowledging the fact that we need to be heading to that space, then we are in denial, right? So that is technology that has actual value. There is a lot of core, strengths that an engine like ChatGPT has that really opens up wonderful opportunities for the other market-ready conversational engines that exist to kind of leverage from, right? To give you a simple example, just the nature of how learning happens within the ChatGPT program allows for us to rethink how we train conversational AI and conversational bots, because as much as we want to sugarcoat it, all said and done, training of conversational bots is still a very manual activity for most platforms that are out there today, right? And here's this platform that is able to learn, not just learn, but learn at an incredible speed, and to apply context and relevance to it at a level that we haven't been able to see before, right? Which is what is really impressive about that engine. So there is opportunity for us to kind of borrow on some of those concepts to strengthen how we apply NLP, NLU, NLG, really get to that NLG space. I know most of us haven't, right? We're all working out of, query databases to support chatbots largely, right? So how do we get to that space of NLG? Now, these are things that you can borrow from the platform. And that said, is ChatGPT going to, start responding to banking customer queries tomorrow? We all know the answer is it's not, right? Because with ChatGPT, where it's learning from or what is its source of truth is something that is not very clearly defined, right? And that makes it automatically unusable for a traditional customer service like program, because we are governed by policies, we are governed by what businesses want to deliver as a message. There are business level changes on how certain policies, simple things like how quickly can I get a response on an email. Every business has its own turnaround time, availability. Now, how do you know that ChatGPT is answering it from your repository and not from something that's off the World Wide Web? We don't know that today, right? So even simple things like that, it takes, so today, out of the box, ChatGPT has some fantastic learning and other utilities that come from generative AI that we have to absolutely leverage and work on. But am I really in a space where I'm going to, lose my existing conversational bot and put a ChatGPT thing over there? No, that's not going to work today. Much like a human agent, every automated agent deserves a certain amount of training before it hits that efficiency curve. And that's not any different for any generative AI or any large language model for that matter. I don't know if you agree, but that's definitely where I'm putting it.
From where I thought was we had 20% right answers from ChatGPT when we tried to test it first specifically for certain customers, because the customer policies, procedures, etc. were all something which was internal to the customer, not necessarily part of the training. Once we trained it, though, which was really quick in about a week and a half time, because we took some time, it was actually 90% accurate. It responded with customer policies and everything else. But it was for a pilot, and pilots don't run into enterprise execution as well. But having said that, I think you are right. Enterprises will continue to use conversational chatbots. But I am feeling fairly confident on ChatGPT because the next version of ChatGPT 4.0 is supposed to come. And I think that will lead, at least the initial conversations around ChatGPT, which were so futuristic and so on and so forth. I believe those will start coming in from either Microsoft frameworks or from other frameworks, because that's what will be more meaningful for ChatGPT, because it's a conversational guy, correct? So that's what it is. So as far as ChatGPT is concerned, right, you answered that question very well. I actually had another question on it. Our customers have started asking us, is ChatGPT going to replace our agents in the next 5 years or so? What is your take on, ChatGPT replacing our agents, or, for example, BPO and CX agents in the next 5 years or so?
Okay, I think the best person to answer this question is ChatGPT itself, and that's what I did. This was a question that I posed to the engine, and I was just curious about what it would say. Even ChatGPT does not believe it's here to do that. Right? So there is absolutely no. I don't think we, let's not go to the Minority Report stage of customer service as yet. I don't think we're there as yet, right? There is a lot of value in a human-centered design, and I'm a big proponent of keeping humans as a part of the, at least the conversational AI design function, right? Whether it is to train bots, whether it is for it to emulate the right behaviors. But more importantly, the human layer is something that that delivers a certain level of empathy and trust that automation has just not been able to deliver as yet, right? So even when we try to get a gauge customer sentiments on what they like to do with automation, all the feedback indicates that what is attached as the primary objective or expectation from an automated delivery channel like conversational AI is efficiency and not really experience, right? So nobody is really expecting or buying it when a chatbot says, I understand what you're going through, because we all know that it doesn't understand what we are going through, right? So when customers want that empathy, the human channel is what delivers it, right? So we've been talking about this for a while at Forrester, and we've always, stayed with the same line. Automation is meant to augment; it's not meant to replace. So no, I don't think anything's going to change. We're not going to the stage of losing customer service agents in the next 5 years, not even in the next 10 years. No, but what we will be able to do is to empower that human layer with the power of conversational automation, right? I think that has fantastic scope and remains largely unexplored as of today. So that I'm really hoping we'll see changes.
Yeah, and the thing that I told the customer was, it will be useful for the agent, It will help the agent answer your questions more efficiently, and it will help the agent be more productive. It will not replace the agent though. So that was the answer that I gave to the customer any which ways.
Agreed.
So thank you so much, Vasu, for your time today. Hope you had a great call, and thanks all. Bye-bye.
I did. Thank you, Rahul. This was fantastic. Always fun catching up with you. Thank you, everyone.